Global News has learned the House of Commons will reconvene Tuesday to deal with the COVID-19 crisis, but business will have to be conducted with the minimum number of MPs, possibly only those who are within driving distance of Ottawa. There's an acknowledgement that each party will try to keep its MPs from flying. The government is not ruling out more restrictions on travel if people refuse to heed that call to stay home. The number of infected here in Canada is rising quickly. More than 1,300 people have tested positive for COVID-19. 19 people have now died. There were big jumps reported today in the worst hit provinces. BC has the most, now at 424 cases. And as David mentioned, there is a first confirmed case in Canada's far north. Someone in Yellowknife tested positive after traveling to BC and Alberta. Canadians woke up to a new reality today. The world's longest undefended border is no longer open to most people. As of midnight, the land border between Canada and the U.S. closed to all non-essential travel. The move by the Canadian and American governments is meant to help curtail the spread of COVID-19. Our Jeff Semple was at normally one of the country's busiest crossings this morning. Jeff, a lot has changed.
Well, Robin, a Saturday during March break in Niagara Falls would normally be bustling with people and traffic, but take a look. It is an absolute ghost town here, almost completely deserted, and this is a big part of the reason why the Canadian-U.S. border officially closed to all non-essential traffic as of 12:01 this morning. But it seems not everyone got the message. Minutes before midnight, Canadians arrived at the U.S. border to find the way already shut.
They don't allow me. They said, no, sorry, sir.
This Toronto area couple was hoping to visit their children who live in the U.S., but were told to turn back.
They said, you see the news, everybody stay home, you stay home.
Others also learned the hard way that the border is now blocked.
Apparently we're not using it anymore.
This Canadian was forced to walk back from the U.S. across a freezing bridge after border guards wouldn't allow his wife to drive over and pick him up. The government says the border is now closed to tourists, shoppers, even asylum seekers. Canadians currently in the U.S. are still allowed to return home, and cross-border trade continues, albeit on a much smaller scale.
Well, the automotive industry is basically shut down until the end of the month. That's our largest employer.
The mayor of Windsor says 6,000 of his residents work in the U.S., many now confused as to whether they'll be allowed to cross for their commute.
I think we're going to have to test this a little bit and just to figure out what is essential and not essential.
This Canadian couple works in the U.S. She's a nurse and is still allowed south of the border, but he works for a production company and can no longer get across.
All over the States, we had set up for the next 6 months, and all that business is gone.
The last time this border was closed was after 9/11, and that closure only lasted a couple of days. The government says this time the border will be closed for at least 1 month, after which they'll reassess and decide whether to extend it. Robin?
All right, thanks for that, Jeff. Let's go to Jackson Proskow, who's watching the border situation from the American side tonight. Jackson, how is the U.S. handling the COVID-19 crisis when it comes to cross-border travel?
Robin, the U.S. has adopted the same measures on both its northern and southern borders, restricting all non-essential travel like tourism or shopping, but keeping the doors open to trade and those who need to work. That has led some Canadian snowbirds in Florida, Arizona, and California scrambling to get home, and it's raising concerns about how daily commerce will function in border cities where people are used to moving back and forth freely. In cities along the U.S.-Mexico border like El Paso, Texas, thousands of people travel back and forth to work or go shopping or even access medical services. And so the big unanswered question remains, what exactly counts as essential travel? The U.S. has said visa holders should still be able to enter for essential jobs like agriculture and medical workers. It's not clear if that applies to all categories of visas, and the U.S. has actually suspended issuing new visas at its consulates and embassies worldwide. All of this is to say that travelers may find the rules applied unevenly at border crossings in the short term as U.S. border protection officials struggle to understand and interpret these new rules. Robin?
Jackson Proskow in Washington. We know you have lots of questions about this virus. Our Jeff Semple will continue to consult with experts and try to answer them. Email your questions at globalnews.ca. And on our website, you'll find a special page dedicated entirely to the new coronavirus. That's at globalnews.ca/coronavirus.